Because oftentimes we ourselves have called out to the Prime Minister. I remember about a week and a half ago, we were on your show speaking about the need for the party itself to get engaged in the fight too. And the Prime Minister has come out and say, hey, I am now going to lead from the front.
So when he says war, it's a war against misinformation.
It's a war against misinformation, not a physical war.
So yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But what is the strategy? What is the strategy to fight this war?
The strategy is, as soon as they put the information out there, we're going after it. The misinformation.
You are going to do that, Joshua?
I've been in the... Well, I'm on record saying many times on many other shows that if I'm the only man left standing, I will continue the fight. So I will definitely be there, because this is not just for me, this is for Jamaica.
Yeah. Okay. Joshua, to what extent do you think that the party is seized of this, the urgency of this matter, and are willing to go to war against misinformation? Because doesn't it not need a coordinated strategy, Joshua?
It does. In fact, I had a meeting.
For example, I heard senior journalist Cliff Hughes suggesting that the PNP's propaganda machine on social media may very well be funded.
Not may. It is funded. Let me give you a statement that was made by Peter Bunting when he was trying to lead the PNP. Shortly after Peter Phillips lost, and he challenged Peter Phillips, he said that the reason the PNP lost is that the JLP has engaged social media, right? And that is why the JLP won the election. And they are going to invest, he used the word invest, heavily in social media. And then that's the time we started seeing a host of people coming out. We also noticed right after this election, the last election in September, less than 100 days ago, which is usually the timeline that an administration is used, a measuring rod for the new administration. Immediately after, we noticed a lot more persons joining the fray. Right?
Joining which fray? Joining which fray?
The PNP is bandwagon.
Hold on there, Mr. Hold on there, Joshua. Let me play this for you. Time is going, but it's very important to put the context on. Hold on.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness last night at Gordon House in the Parliament on his feet, responding. And you know, I tell you, I am very concerned about a disease that is taking root in our politics. It's a disease that is being normalized in certain democracies. The democracy to the north of us, our friends in America. The Trump disease, the lying, the normalization of lying. And I've spoken about it here. And in that, what you saw in the Parliament yesterday is an evolution. So those kinds of lies that are peddled, especially on social media, we see the opposition now legitimizing it in the Parliament. And it is something that poses an insidious threat to our democracy. Where we lie. And if you don't tell a blatant one, you tell a half-truth. And you push it out there. And you pay people to repeat it. And if you repeat it often enough, enough people will begin to believe it. It is an insidious and dangerous threat to the democracy.
Joshua,
Yes, sir.
I asked my listeners, my other guests, to just give me a moment with you. You have privately discussed fascism with me,
Yes, sir.
and I have gone ahead and looked at it. There is some amount of fascism here, Joshua.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
When you peddle misinformation, and you do it deliberately, it smacks fascism, Joshua. Is there not a need for civil society, the church, and other Jamaicans to be involved in this? And is this not what the Prime Minister is probably angry about and is asking for help in correcting?
Definitely, sir. In fact, I would dare to say to you that civil society is no longer civil.
They are not
Right.
civil?
No, sir. They are not civil towards the JLP. In fact, one member of the PNP, Alone Ndambia Samba, stated publicly that they have formed committees and they call it civil society, but they have packed it with PNP members because they have an agenda. Publicly stated that.
Yeah, but she said that many years ago. She said that many years ago. Do you think that still applies to the current crop?
The PNP has never ceased.
No more than ever. No more than ever, neighbor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
The PNP started this thing from the days of DK Duncan,
No.
when they had the Ministry of Mobilization, right? And they peddled a lot of propaganda, and they have gotten better and better with it over the years. During PJ Patterson's era, there was a little less of it. During Portia Simpson Miller era, there was a little less of it. Under Mark Golding, it has taken on a new life. It has gotten to a point that it has never reached before. And I believe that the society is in danger.
Deliberate peddling of misinformation.
Deliberate peddling of lies. That the misinformation is the political term for it. But it's lies. Natalie, Jamaica Politics Uncovered, has been speaking of it because she was a PNP for many years. She was a part of the party, paid up members very close to the party for many years. And she warned against it. And in fact, she called names of high-ranking member within the PNP now who set up a machinery within the PNP just for that. That person is sitting on the PAAC right now who set up that kind of machinery. And she warned Jamaica against it.
What I'm aghast at, Joshua, is that this is not organic. This is not individuals loving their party and coming out to just, support their party through these various means. That the PNP would be behind this to the point where they pay them. That could not be true, Joshua.
It is very true. In fact, years ago, I'm going to give you two information in one. Years ago, approximately 3.5 years ago, I was speaking with a journalist from the largest media house in Jamaica, and he forwarded a WhatsApp message to me from the journalist group, because the journalists have a group that they chat in. And in that WhatsApp message, it stated that leading up to the next election, the one that just went by, they are going to go after the Jamaica Labour Party. He forwarded the WhatsApp message.
A journalist group?
A journalist group, and he screenshot it and forwarded the message to me from the largest media house in Jamaica, of which Mark Golding's best friend is chairman. You let that sit in for a minute, sir. Right? Now, when the largest media group can begin to take sides, right, and no wonder they are opposed to the one media house in Jamaica that seeks to be balanced.
Uh-huh.
Right?
You respect you respect Mr. Hughes, Joshua, as a senior journalist. You think that
Thank you very much, because I think he tries his best to be balanced. We know his socialization, that he was a paid up, not just a paid up member, but he ran for seat within the PNP. Right? We know that.
Is Mr. Hughes, do you think Mr. Hughes is stretching this a bit when he speaks of paying people, though, Joshua. I can't see that. Really?
No, no, sir. They have not. Remember, I said to you that the gentleman, Peter Murcott Bunting, and I will call his name because I cannot be sued for the truth,
Yes.
stated that the reason that the PNP lost, it's because the Jamaica Labour Party used social media to defeat them, and they are going to invest heavily in social media.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Well, Joshua, me talk on something on that, because you see, it look like this really surprised neighbor. I just now wonder if neighbor really wanted to just ask the question again so that the people could hear. 2024, approaching the end of the year when the PNP thought the election would be called, the PNP's main bloggers were up in arms. Now, I am one of those persons who get information from within the PNP, and that's why I say me have to just remain how I am.
Right, anonymous.
Anonymous, get information from within the PNP. And I was told that one blogger was owed 250,000. And when he called for his money and didn't receive it, he said that he would not utter another word until him get his money. And they started to communicate among themselves, the ones who are paid to do what they do. And it was quite a few of them who wasn't paid. And I did a full video about it and posted on YouTube. They are paid. They are paid to create the kind of chaotic war out there. Because remember, neighbor, the PNP cannot tell you the truth, If the PNP tell you the truth, you will not support the PNP,
Right.
Hold on there for me. Oh, I'm on a little bit of pressure. Where were we, Joshua? Where were we?
All right. So we were really, in a nutshell, talking about the PNP's employment of propagandists.
Yes,
but
and I was asking you, Joshua, if you respect Cliff Hughes's views, and that he was not being reckless in making this assertion. He's putting it out there that he's concerned, and that there is likely money backing these people on social media. That's incredulous, Joshua.
Sir, he should be concerned, and all well-thinking Jamaicans should be concerned. You remember the discussion we had about fascism and its dangers. Now,
yeah, and I touched a bit of it, Joshua, and I looked at it and I said, but you are onto something here, Joshua. Is there here a design to infiltrate the minds of Jamaicans with false, misleading information, lies, to the point where they begin? Because if you repeat it often, Joshua, especially in a society, Joshua, where the literacy is not so strong,
Not only is the literacy not so strong, but PJ Patterson did something strategically during his tenureship, which we must never just gloss over. He took critical mental ability out of school. That is one. And he took civics out of school. So civics is an understanding as to how government run in general, right? And mental ability is granting you that critical thinking skill that you need to process information properly. Right, so both of them went taken out. So now if you don't know how government run, then you'll have the expectations being misplaced. And if you cannot process information properly, then anything that you hear, you will believe. Right, now the PNP has a system where they talk about NEC, National Executive Council, right? And I'm just showing you how the PNP strategize. When the PNP lost in 2007, Fenton Ferguson said something again that we missed. Fenton Ferguson was lamenting in an interview the loss of the PNP to the then JLP under Bruce Golding. And he said the reason the PNP has lost is because of the JLP that came over and they have not gone to PNP school. Now you may ask yourself, what is PNP school? The PNP has a system. Oftentimes you hear them mention about the groups The groups is not just a passing by wearing the trade unions and all of those things, though they engage them. What they do, they have a system, they have a central council that plans and an arm, just like how they have the Ministry of Mobilization back then in the 70s, where they plan what their strategy will be, campaigning, and they employ what is known as the 9 principles of propaganda, in some instances the 10 principles of propaganda. You can read up on it, right? And they disseminate whatever information they need to go out, and they give it to central persons who then take it down to the community level, right, in different groups, and then they pass on that information. And this is going to be the talking point for the rest of the period, for however long they choose to. And that's a strategy that the PNP has utilized to spread their propaganda.
But why is it then, Cliff, that Joshua, that only Hughes in media would have picked up on this? What about the other journalists in Jamaica? And I'm not getting this.
Which journalists, neighbor?
Huh?
Only Nationwide has journalists left in Jamaica today. Which
Right, the others are reporters, they're not journalists.
Oh.
Right.
And if they're a part of the NEC and they're a part of the PNP propaganda, what is there for them to pick up?
And they have no interest in informing the people because they're benefiting from the system. Now, to go back a little, neighbor, you ask a couple of times whether or not they are really being paid. Right after the election loss the other day, a couple of them, including Caution, and I will call his name, when a young man, what they call mad out, what them call the new term, a young man was quarreling and said him stop blog for the PNP if him don't get him money, right? And they were lamenting that it's only handpicked persons who get paid, and him do all sort of things and lose weight, and he has not gotten paid, and him upset about it. They spoke about it publicly when they couldn't take the pressure anymore. For no, said, boy, we work so hard and you give your favorites them money, but we never get none. Right? So this is one of the worst kept secrets, if you're really listening to them.
But Joshua, if a political party that sits in the Parliament of Jamaica is resorting to paying people to come on media to tell lies, then it deserves some attention, Joshua. What you guys are doing about it?
Civil society protecting J.A., Chuck Finley, Harry, myself, because I spoke with Harry a little bit more today, and I found out that he came into the space for the very reason that I came into the space. And Chuck is my friend. I would call him my friend, right? And I know that he's committed to the defense of Jamaica, right? But I have purposed in my heart that tomorrow morning, if they decide, boy, I can't do this anymore, if I'm the only man left standing, and if it's going to cost me my life, and I'm very serious about this, I will still remain fighting.
Yeah, but I'm asking if I may move over to protecting. If a political party resorts to paying people to come up and tell lies, then a society's democracy
It's under threat.
It's definitely threatened. Huh?
Literally, this is a situation that is treasonous.
Oh my God.
I do have a question though. Do we have proof that it's actually lies, or is it just another alternate version of?
Did you listen to the senior journalist?
No, I am. I heard his opinion.
All right, let me hold on. Neighbor.
Hold on. Did you hear the minister of Social Security on the program earlier, sir?
Oh yeah, I did hear that as well. But the question that I have is,
Did you hear Mr. Vaz in Central Westmoreland saying that the government has not sent no package down there?
I don't think I've heard that clip.
Well, let me play it for you. The minister came on the program and he said that the government has sent 90 or 9,000 packages into Westmoreland. Mr. Vaz, listen to Mr. Vaz. This is the member of parliament for Central Westmoreland.
Okay.
By the way, they said he's a man with like rum, so I don't know that he was on the rum. So listen to him.
The only assistance we have gotten from the government was the $3 million that was mentioned by Dr. Campbell earlier.
Here you have it, sir. The minister came here to say he sent the packages there. So who is lying?
I mean, I can't really speak to what transpired, but I hear what you're saying as it relates to that ordeal. I'm more thinking of from a general perspective in the sense that when you're talking about elections, right? There's this idea that you're
Son,
saying
yes,
lie.
we have proof that they're lying. We know they're lying.
Yeah, but me
Okay.
just wait. Chuck, I want to hear where I go first before me
No,
answer
no,
him
no. But I
because
mean, where I'm really going is to the idea that, and we both know that there are alternate realities, right?
All
There are
right.
alternate endings, so
So,
people
son of
can
No,
come to
no.
different decisions. I'm not defending anyone. I'm just
no.
asking.
I never thought that you were, sir.
Son of
But I
Brown.
want to point out something to you. The reason we know when they're teaching you to recognize counterfeit, do you know the principle that they use, son of Brown?
It all depends on what we are evaluating to see if it's a counterfeit, right?
You first have to know what the true money feels like, the real money feels like.
If we're dealing with money.
Right.
True.
Right. So what they do, they get you familiar with the real money. Now, for us in this space, and I'm talking the immediate team that is on this live, right? There have a few others who are out there, probably another 30 persons or so. The Dujans, the Classic, the Munchies, and some other persons, right? Who have gotten familiar with the truth. We make sure that everything that comes out of government, even when it was PNP in power, we studied it, we read the documents, we make sure we familiarize ourselves with the policies of the government, and we read through thoroughly. We do our research, everything. We listen to both sides of the fence, PNP and JLP. So whenever anything contrary to that comes out, we know the difference. And that is why we know that it's a lie. We have seen, in fact, Mark Golding is on record at the last leadership debate in saying that he can change his mind whenever he wants to. Right? So Mark Golding says one thing now and contradict. All right, take for instance, recently, Mark Golding requested that the government form a team, a bipartisan team, for the distribution of the services as it relates to Melissa.
Mhm.
The government went ahead. Mind you, there was a team before that, and he requested it. The government went ahead and formed it. When it was formed, they sent a letter saying that they wish not to be on it anymore and rejected it. And the following week, they came out saying that the government refused to put them on a team. How do you call that alternate reality?
Well, I mean, in that scenario, I would not call that alternate reality if what you're saying is actually what happened.
All right, let me find one of the tapes right now, if neighbor would permit. In fact, neighbor, I'll send it to you and you can play it. You're the host.
No, I may have to load it up. So if you can play, go ahead.
Right. So let me find it and then.
While you look for it, Joshua, let me answer son of Brown. Jamaica have the luxury. Jamaica have a very unique situation, son of Brown. Because of how infectious the People's National Party have been over the many decades, there were more people who became PMP. But hear this now, this funny. There are more people who support the JLP now who were PMP. I am one of them. Me born and growing a PMP. I know every trick and of the PMP's trade.
And I'm the opposite.
You understand?
Okay.
So you have to understand the position we're coming from. Now here's the next strike. There are people in the PMP today who does not support Mark Golding, but for the sake of the party and for the sake of unity, publicly they play along. My most potent information, and since I have come on the space since 2023 to now, I have never been wrong. The most potent information I have gotten is from within the PMP. People who sit at the table and are a part of the planning. Now, let me tell you something. There is no truth that comes out of the PMP. Let me paint a picture for you. Let me paint a picture for you.
We want a special committee to be formed to deal with Melissa. Just as how Beryl had a special committee, and just as how there was one for COVID. About 9 days later,
I have the tape.
committee.
I have the tape.
All right, go ahead and play it, Joshua.
Yeah.
Presentation in relation to Hurricane Melissa recovery.
Daddy, a basic.
I'm sorry, I pressed the wrong button and just threw myself off. All right, so I'm going to play it.
In our last sitting, when the Prime Minister gave his presentation in relation to Hurricane Melissa recovery efforts, he did indicate that the government would move to establish a joint select committee akin to the COVID-19 joint select committee to provide oversight of the recovery effort. And he did highlight that we would come to the House today to name that joint select committee. In light of that, Madam Speaker, I will read these two letters into the record. Dear Minister, this letter is from the Leader of Opposition Business, Mr. Philip Paulman. Dear Minister, during the presentation last Tuesday in Parliament, the Prime Minister announced the establishment of a joint select committee to provide oversight of matters relating to the operations for relief, recovery, and consequence to the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa. He mentioned that you and I spoke on the terms of reference and the membership of the committee. On reflection on this matter, the opposition believes that such a committee would not be necessary and appropriate as it would be duplicating and usurping the role and function of the AAC. Please be reminded that the main functions of the AAC as set out in standing are examining budgetary expenditure of government and other public bodies to ensure that expenditure is done in accordance with the parliamentary approval. B, monitoring expenditure as it occurs and keep the parliament implemented. And C, inquiry into the administration of the government to determine hindrances to the efficiency and to make recommendations to the government for the improvement of public administration. We would also wish to state that a joint select committee involving members of the Senate in such an exercise would be unprecedented. Considering this, we strongly urge the government to allow the existing arrangements for oversight in all aspects of the work related to Hurricane Melissa recovery to be maintained.
I think I have it, Joshua. I think I have it.
7 by electronic mail.
I think I have it.
Yes, sir.
Joshua,
Yes, sir.
I think I have it.
This time, as it would be duplicating and usurping the role and function of the PAAC. Please be reminded that the main functions of the PAAC. Considering the above, we strongly urge the government to allow the existing arrangements for oversight in all aspects of the works related to Hurricane Melissa recovery be maintained. Best regards, Philip Paulman, and this letter was sent on Friday, November 7th by electronic mail. This reversal is particularly surprising, given that during your press conference on November 3rd, 2025, the Leader of the Opposition explicitly called for additional oversight of the process. The Prime Minister's decision to establish a joint select committee was aimed at fostering national consensus and unity, and in direct response to the opposition's public call for greater oversight. The precedence for this approach was established during the COVID-19 pandemic, when a similar oversight committee was appointed to consider the COVID-19 pandemic and related matters. It is therefore both perplexing and troubling that the opposition now appears to be retreating from its own stated position.
There you go, Joshua. That's what you're looking for.
Yes, sir. You know, and there are quite a few others. Take, for instance, in Parliament on Tuesday, the Prime Minister had to push back at the person on the PNP who is tasked with social transformation.
Here is she, Joshua.
Why is it this early relief program has been so chaotic, disjointed, and partisan in how it has been carried out.
The question asked is a classic case of bringing the false notion onto a public platform.
Well, we don't need to play the Prime Minister's response, but what he was actually saying is that the member was bringing a false narrative to the Parliament.
And this has been a practice through and through. Son of Brown, like protecting. I grew up in a comrade family also. And I couldn't remain that way. And I'm not telling anybody to be laborite. All I'm saying is that the information is out there. Search for yourself. Right? Do not just listen to rhetorics. Go and dig. The IS is there and all the relevant. All right. Take, for instance, the Prime Minister the other day requested a couple of things. The government of Jamaica requested a couple of things. It's on the ADPEM website and it's on the Belgian embassy's website. Yet people are stating that the government is not doing anything. And this is what the opposition is pushing, the narrative that the government is not doing anything. So who asked for these things? They also have information out there to say that a group that is known as United Cajun Navy has sought permission to operate in Jamaica to help to rescue people and to provide for people, right? And the government of Jamaica rejected it. When you would do the research, at least 6 international radio stations and newspapers have said differently that they have been approved from the 28th, which is the very day of the hurricane, to come into Jamaica, and they are here operating. But this is the information that is out there, right? And it's a direct plan to sabotage and to get into government by all means necessary, right?
I mean, I agree it's a plan. You know, it definitely is a plan. And there are different things that they can use it for, and, you know, for different means of that sort. You know, so I agree with you on that front.
Yeah, and it's time all well-thinking Jamaicans, irrespective of which side you're on, push back against it. Did you know that just earlier this week, 2 PNP persons, I don't know them, but they were on TikTok. One lady says that because she's telling her own people not to embark, not to go down this road because it don't look bad, then they block her. One of them cuss her out and tell her that she's a labor rights sympathizer because she's not with them with the foolishness that they're carrying on. And that's one of the things that they do. When you don't follow the narrative, then you know become enemy number 1.
All right, Joshua, I'm going to bring back Harry in, but let me ask you this finally, Joshua.
Sure.
The organized approach by the opposition, I may even extend it to the PNP, it is not being met, in my view, with an appropriate, adequate, organized response from the JP and in a larger respect, the government. I understand that there is to be a protest in Kingston sometimes next month.
It's
when the Prime Minister.
No, next year.
No, Chuck. It's 2 protests that has been organized. One for next month and one for July next year by the PNP.
I do have a question though. Is there ever a time in Jamaica?
1 minute. One minute here, sir.
Okay. All right. Is there ever?
So I understand that when the Prime Minister's case, the constitutional authority, looking at his seat, that there is to be a protest being organized by supporters of the opposition. Joshua, this is organized and this requires funding.
Yeah, and it is being funded by the very same people.
Yes. Yes, Chuck. But I'm asking you, what would be an appropriate response to something like this? Because this is going to fuel the seeds of discord and fractiousness, even at a time when the nation should be pressing for unity. He's gone. Who do I have? Harry?
I'm here, neighbor.
Yeah, Harry. Let me get your take on this as we push towards 12 midnight. We're actually just 17 minutes away. Harry, but first of all, Harry, you heard the Prime Minister in Westmoreland today. Do you have any concern about his language, his tone, the aggressive way, not afraid of nobody? Any concern?
Neighbor, personally, I don't, but I can see why people would want to say he could be a little bit more politically astute in that way, politically correct as a better term. But I think we also have to understand that this is a man that has taken almost a decade worth of beating, neighbor, without responding. So for him to come out and express it the way he did, it comes from a point of both a little frustrating to see how the lies have multiplied in a short period of time and is now eating away the moral fabric of our society so much that it is threatening.
Wouldn't the enemy read that to say, well, we're getting at you, we get into you?
They could if they want to take the bait, right? They could, neighbor, if they want. They could read it that way if they want to take the bait, because if we go back as well, remember, Andrew did also say in a speech where he states when he speaks, certain people is afraid. I don't know if I can find that one. So he's been sounding the warning for far too long, and he's about to stop firing warning shots. And the persons who he would have cryptically stated to, they know themselves from the opposition hand. But I think it is right to come out and do it, neighbor. And I think what the opposition and their surrogates and people overall won't accept for that tone is because they hold him in such high regards and don't think he should have stooped to a certain level. And that is also, neighbor, a testament of him being judged by his standards.
Well, so then, Harry, there is to be war, a war against misinformation. Are you joining that army, sir?
Well, neighbor, it's the main thing that brought me out of the private shell that I was in, because I normally don't do the lives, and I'm here more than ever, because I see it not just as a threat to the government, neighbor. I see it as a threat to our very existence as moral beings. I think it's degrading. It is technically treason against a nation like Jamaica. It's threatening everything we have built on, right? And I don't believe I should sit aside and allow that. And you know my thing as well, neighbor. I have a young one, and I don't want my young one to be in any society where you can't tell the truth from the lies, where the lies get all the love, all the push. I have to fight against that before it gets bad, neighbor, and I'll do it to my last breath.
You are saying, sir, that you joined this in recent times? You were not part of this before the election?
Neighbor, let me tell you, I've come on, my first live is actually when I came on your program.
On my program, sir?
On your program, neighbor. Right? And that was after watching it twice.
I thought that someone told me that they heard you somewhere else, and asked you
not in the political arena to take on this aspect. It was just meeting a friend and just discussing some things in and around. Typically, basically, neighbor, because it has, and I'm going to show you the magnitude of it. I've now structured a part of my day, and I've also explained it to my family. For those specific hours, this is what I'll be doing. It is a sacrifice, neighbor.
You have scheduled Politics Plus in your day?
Neighbor, 7 to 9, because I'm a night owl, alright? and 7 to 9, and I get some little free time as well, you know. I get an extension of grace from the lovely lady, so I have to use it wisely.
Good night,
And
lovely lady.
we,
Good night.
we know it's for the greater good, neighbor, and I'm willing to take that time. I believe it is an investment in Jamaica, because you don't have to put money in everything. But I have one thing I'm committing to, and I made the bold statement and I'm sticking to it. I have 4 years to execute that promise. And you'll probably know, for persons who are here that night, I need that clip as well, neighbor. Right?
Yes.
Because 2030 is coming. But
This
that is
woman
how serious.
He has scheduled time to join this fight. What a fantastic Jamaican you are.
Neighbor, it has taken such a toll where I am in terms of where I work. I get people to speak politics per se, persons who are tight-lipped. And I'm like, this is my view and this is my perspective. And it's my Jamaica, just as it's everybody else's Jamaica. But I know what I want. And I saw people coming out a little bit more out of themselves, because guess what? You don't have a lot of leaders in a neighbor. And I alluded to it, we have a lot of sheep. And those who are equipped enough to lead, and you can lead in many different areas. And I want people to understand, based on the panel, we are all specialists in different areas on this panel. And as such, we lead on this panel in those areas. But we also ensure we learn and evolve. Because, neighbor, I grew up where I wondered why my father, who never voted for PNP, but switched from PNP, and I grew up questioning it, getting information. And technically, coming through high school and all of that, I was seen as somebody who was aggressive and too and all of that. I was filled with challenge. Right? Because I questioned things that was in the existence so much that when I brought the truth, it threatened that so-called truth that was being taught. I even went as far as university level with challenging lecturers who had an agenda. And we know they had an agenda. And as we come up now, those same persons who would have seen me challenging authority, because that's what they put it down as. They coin it beautiful, that you're challenging our authority. Well, if authority is not factual, authority can't explain its position, authority can't match the history of what is, then I'm going to be on the back of authority, neighbor. And that's what I've always been doing. And I don't think I'm going to stop now, especially when I have even more reason to do so in the political arena. And those persons who I grew up with finally know, or for those who understand, finally got why I did what I did. And some of what I've said, even up to a decade and a half ago, they finally saw some of that truth coming to light, and they come to me and said, I remember at age X, you said it, but we couldn't believe because you did young. And we never think, being so young, you had the right to even know that truth. And I stand on that, neighbor.
Oh, inspiring, sir. Well, I will release you to your family at this time.
Yes, neighbor.
Yes,
Neighbor.
and I'm going to give Joshua 2 minutes, Joshua, to wrap up.
All right. So thank you very much. I want to invite you to read an article, Militant PNP, why you're getting quiet support from some elders, which alluded to a committee being formed for the management of information, which is a political term of reference, with 21 pointers from the then PNP YO President Crystal Tomlinson to the party's executive, right? Which alludes to what we have been talking about, right? In addition to that, I also want to appeal to all well-thinking Jamaica that one of the things I believe that the PNP is trying to do, along with their minions, without seeming to have their hands on it, is to appeal to that part of people that says, I can't take this anymore, and stoking civil unrest. I've heard several of their minions, bloggers included, right? Persons making TikToks, speaking of rising of arms and all of those things. We may say that that is nothing, but the same thing happened before Hitler rose to power in Nazi Germany. If you read the story of Hitler, the very same thing happened when it was being dismissed as nothing until it was too late. I'm saying to the rest of Jamaica, do not dismiss these things. We have been here before. We came close to it in the 70s. And I think we're on the cusp of something like this again if we sit back and do nothing. Civil society seems to be twiddling its fingers and, be more batting on behalf of their party than doing what is right. The journalists, instead of asking the tough questions and bringing these things to light, have been siding with the fascist agenda, it seems. And I'm saying that before it's too late, we all have to push back. Yes, you may love your party, but love Jamaica more, because the future of your children, your grandchildren, and all that you have worked for in participating in the building of Jamaica depends upon your input. And so do not just sit by and say it will go no further and this is just politics. It is more than politics. It's about the protection of a country that we all love in one way or the other. And I land right there.
Well, sir, I think we must engage further on this. I have many more questions to press on you. So one day next week?
Sure, sir. Definitely.
All right. Great. Protecting?
I was being asked to read one of the paragraphs. I don't know, but I can send it to you.
Yeah, man. Time is we out of time.
Yes, neighbor.
You're protecting. Fascinating to hear all of this, protecting. Many eyes are being opened here. And I think the half has not been told.
No, neighbor, and I think we have 5 full years to open some more eyes and to open some hearts. I since I entered this space in October 2023, I learned while I was trying to teach that our people are so far behind neighbor.
Yes.
Our people really don't know. And sometimes when it gets so frustrating, I have to remind myself that instead of getting angry, might as well you just take it upon yourself to continue to repeat these truths so that people will begin to even make an attempt to go find out if are these things in fact so? Because information is there in a neighbor. Information is there. And the PMP have gotten away with a whole lot in our country while they were diminishing our country to basket case. Just look at how barefaced the PMP are. In 2010, when the incursion was launched on those men in Tivoli, murders started to decline the years after. The PMP came into power and they benefited from that downward trajectory, the declines. Yet still, when Peter Bunting spoke, he said many times over, under his tenure, murders went down, even though he was benefiting from that decline. Today, we are going to experience a year with less than 700 murders. And if you listen to the PMP, it is the police that did it, not the government. And this is how they subtly communicate. And what that does, it takes away one of the most important elements from any important development in our country. So yes, it was always the police fighting crime, but supported by resources from the government, right? In the past, when Peter Bunting was a minister, that is the case, or was the case. But now, it is only the police who is fighting crime, but the government have no involvement. And so the people of Jamaica would really have to be educated to a certain level.
But then that's a task, Joshua, that that is not going to be achieved here.
It will be achieved if over time we enlighten people on how to pick up these things. Because the issues, are so nuanced and deeply, in a sense, deceptive, that if you really depend your P's and your Q's, you won't pick it up. It will just fly past that. You will just hear say a police a fight crime. You know a police a fight crime, so you won't even have a second thought to say, but all the police get for a fight crime must be government support. So
Yes.
so these things gets by, and I always remind my JLP friends that the PMP deliberately employ psychologists and marketing psychologists at that to be a part of their planning committees for their messaging, because they plan politics. Now, where we are, neighbor, is a very peculiar place. We're at a very unique place in history.
Will we win? Will Jamaica win, sir? Do you think that we have the
Jamaica will win this time because we have Jamaica will win this time, neighbor and listeners, because we have a good leader. Not everybody can be a leader in a neighbor, but we have a very good one.
But is the leader?
And that is how
Do you think
Jamaica
that the
will
leader is now breaking based on what we saw in Westmoreland today?
No.
No, not a break.
No. The leader needs to do that. Neighbor, let me tell you something. You see, let me tell you something. I believe with all my heart that this idea that the slave masters put in this precious book about when somebody thump you in the right side of your face, you turn the left side, give them. The punching at the left side might be the one that knock you out and you don't get up. You have to fight back.
The eye for an eye, you don't see that, eh?
No.
I see.
No, it's an eye for eye. I see the eye for eye as reasonable. I don't see the turn the next cheek as reasonable.
You don't.
That's what I'm saying. No. I mean, I turn no cheek. None of them. Not even the right one or the left one.
I tell you though, Joshua wouldn't agree with you on that because there are deeper theological implications. I want him to read.
Neighbor.
Yeah, I want you to read the chapter.
Neighbor, just hear this. 30 seconds I'm asking you for.
Yes.
Right? Because I'm sure that persons want to hear. It says the youth arm, which is the article, further recommend an overhaul of the PNP's communication machinery, which political analysis say was found wanting in the lead up to the 2016 general election, and as recent as the Portland Eastern by-election. Communication, PR, public relation, and propaganda machinery must be financed. And the PNP suggesting a structural reform. Notice what they said, It must be what? The propaganda machinery must be what?
Financed.
Financed.
This is a article from the PNP, from within.
Hold on. From within where?
It's a letter within.
PNP, former PNP YO president writing to the PNP itself.
Yeah.
That the propaganda machine must be financed?
Yep.
Must be financed. I sent you the entire article, sir.
It is being financed now.
What are you saying to me?
I sent you the entire article and you need to read it yourself.
Neighbor. I told you before in a neighbor, and I'm going to repeat it so the 415 people can hear.
But isn't that a facet of our society where the machine is financed?
No, sir. No, sir. We all push back against it. There's a different.
Son of Brown.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Let me say this, my friend. And I've said it to neighbor already, and I will say it again. If the bloggers who blog for the PMP were any brighter, the JLP would be in big trouble. The JLP maintains its place because the PMP's bloggers and vloggers are dunces. Yeah. Them dunce. You see, if them did have sense, neighbor, the JLP would be in bigger trouble. Them dunce. Big time dunce. Them that have no sense.
But they listen to
you burn brain cell. If you listen to a PMP conversation on one of them platform just for a minute, 60 seconds, and you burn out the whole of your brain cell then.
I mean, but you should be open your mind, to
My
Another
brother,
deal.
if you want to go open your mind for it to be loaded with nothing, I will say go ahead. I'm not into that.
But you know what?
Son of Brown,
Yeah.
understand this. It is the reason why a ship stays on top of the water. It's the moment that water gets in the ship, that's when the ship starts to sink. So if you want to open up your mind, which is the ship, to that water, prepare to lose some brain cells.
All right, all right. Even though I'm on the different side of the aisle, right, guys, I do like the aspiration that Harry has, as well as Joshua with his unified spirit for Jamaica. Because at the end of the day, Jamaica is important thing, regardless of the party, and that's the focus that we all should be on.
The normalization of lies protecting Jamaica. Massive threat to our democracy. We're gonna have to.
That is true.
We will win, neighbor, because we have programs like these where people like myself and the others who from time to time we have our own audiences and elsewhere. So we will win because at the end of the day, the lie does not stand up for too long. It fades. And if we continue to have these discussions and if we continue to inform enough people, then as we move forward, the conversations will now begin to be on matters of truth. Because I am sure that Son of Brown learned some things tonight.
Yes.
That when he joins any discussion moving forward, I'm sure he'll be going back to do some more research. But any discussion he joins going forward, he will begin to share some of the information that he picked up here tonight. So that is how we will get to permeate the spaces with the truth by continuing the discussions.
I'm always a student to information,
And be prepared for your colleagues to push back against you, because the moment you start disagreeing with them, Son of Brown, I'm telling you, they are going to kick back on you like you're the plague.
Joshua, them are going to tell him say my labor right.
Yes. We have seen it.
That is a good thing, Mr. Brown, because if you start to sound smart and them say you're labor right, that is actually a good thing. Because it means that your perspective will be more in line with common sense and the truth. And
By
if
the way,
them are going to call you labor right for that, welcome.
By the way, Son of Brown, that is your picture we're seeing there.
Yeah, that's correct. That's my photo.
Why is there an image in the background?
Say that again.
There's an image. That image of you in the background, is that how you capture it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Well, my brother, want to thank you for joining us tonight. You have to come back again.
No worries, I'll definitely be back. I'm all over the political aisle. I'm for Greenwich Town, I'm for Tivoli, I'm for Westmoreland, where I'm from. So, I'm all over the political aisle.
Yeah, it's 6 minutes after 12 o'clock. It's Saturday morning. Have a great morning, sir.
Same to you guys as well.
God bless you, sir. God bless you, Son of Brown.
Nice to meet you, Son of Brown.
Same to you as well.